Sound of Manchester. My name is Anurag, and today we are a little more delighted. Yesterday, Manchester United registered a decent performance, we must say. Uh, we dominated the possession. We were good on the ball. There was some pretty delightful passing. Mata and Bruno, it was just magical. Some of the stuff they were doing, and it definitely brought a temporary smile, I must say, because we are entering a hell phase right now. After this, there's PSG coming up. There's Chelsea, Arsenal, and Leipzig as well. There is a very tough road ahead, but a very good start, I must say, Kushagra. Uh, Again, we had the possession, I must say, and we did well with that. It hasn't happened often in Ole's tenure that we've had possession and we've done so well.
Yeah, and a very good start, I guess. I don't know. You like to call it that because as soon as the match started,
Yeah,
it felt like the very first time Saint Maximin got the ball and sort of tried to dribble on the left hand side of the Newcastle attack, and
yeah,
the ball switches to Shelby, who gives it to the right back. I'm forgetting the Kraft. I think it was Thomas Kraft.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thomas Kraft. Yeah,
Yeah, so Kraft gets the ball, and it's just again. I mean, it's we've talked about the same
it's
thing over
Emil
and
Kraft.
yeah,
Sorry,
it's Emil. Yeah,
Emil
Emil
Kraft. I'm
Kraft. Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
We've talked about the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's again, you look at what is the positioning of the two central midfielders? Where were they? How was it the midfield was bypassed so easily just in the second minute of the game? And I've seen all on social media and on football Twitter and everything else, people slating Luke Shaw. Now I'm not saying that he's a great left back or he's the answer to Roberto Carlos's successor or something like that. But clearly the man can't do anything there. He has to put his foot there to try and block the ball
yeah,
because as far as the ball the right back could be squaring the ball to a striker. So
true.
he's just put his foot out there, and it takes the only kind of deflection it could take to go in is the deflection it took. It reminded me of Phil Jones's insane goal versus United for Spurs. I think
Yeah,
last season.
yeah.
Under Jose it was. So that incredible volley or like half volley it was in the top corner. So in a way, it was
I remember Cahill's. I remember
yeah,
Cahill's
yeah,
against Spurs
yeah,
also. Yeah, that was the
yeah,
Spurs, I guess.
yeah, and I mean, in that little phase of play, like anything and everything that could go wrong went wrong for United. So
truly.
and it was a really bad start. Fully expected them to crumble again because it was just unbelievable. Because even after that, if you saw how Newcastle played, they did have a few chances. Like they did have two or three very very good opportunities after that throughout the match, but it seemed like they were content with their one goal lead, and they were always playing on the counter with 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah,
So in that sense, I was as really pleased with the way United played yesterday because beyond those first 5 to 10 minutes, I think United got a hold of the game. They ended up dominating possession. Most of the game was played in the Newcastle half with United trying to penetrate. I saw some really interesting patterns of play as well yesterday, which Ole Solskjaer gets slated about the fact whether he has tactics, whether he has a pattern of play or stuff like that, and then people call all of his results that he's gotten against the bigger teams as jammy results, as something that has just been out of luck, which cannot really happen. You don't end up beating Pep,
three
Jose,
times.
whosoever else, so many times without actually having a tactical acumen, and without actually understanding what the game is. So you don't really, doesn't just happen. So of course, there are issues there. If we come back to the starting lineup, Anurag, I mean, I'd like to throw this back to you. I
Yeah,
was I was quite confused with the starting lineup. I know Harry Maguire scored a goal, and yeah, he came out, did a decent interview as well, and everything else. And yes, had he been left out yesterday, and had this result happened, it wouldn't have helped him as much as the goal should have helped him hopefully, and the win
yeah.
should have helped him hopefully. But again, Harry Maguire was at fault for that first goal. Where was he again? He's supposed to be the captain
And
again,
towards the end of the first 45, he made a few errors there. I think that
Yeah,
and
could have
yeah.
led to the
yes,
goal.
and the Callum Wilson save from De Gea.
Yeah.
Again, what the hell are the two centre backs doing, and what is your captain doing? Isn't he the leader? So I'm still not convinced. I don't think he's even good enough to be a Manchester United centre back, let alone be a captain. And now that he is the captain, I think it shows a lot of weakness on Ole Solskjaer's part to not be able to take a tough decision and just move him on. If nothing else, just strip him off the captaincy, because it didn't haunt United here. It will definitely come and haunt United somewhere else.
Yeah, as because again, one of the problems that Harry Maguire has always had is when the team is playing high, and especially when there are pacey forwards or pacey wingers. That's what we saw with Wilfred Zaha. That's what we saw in the game against even against Brighton, to be honest. And we
Yeah.
know what Spurs did. And next up, it's PSG. I mean, yeah, that really scares me right now to think
Imagine
of.
if Saint Maxima was doing that. What would Neymar
Oh
have been
my
able to do?
god. Oh my god. Saint Maximan, he was driving in 3-4 players towards himself,
It was
and
a
he was
joke,
leaving
dude.
he I think that was such a good performance from the guy. I think he deserves to be at a better club. I know he just signed a 6-year contract, but I think if he keeps continuing playing at this level, he's going to a much bigger club in inside, I think, next season, in fact. Who knows? But Prathamesh, again, uh Kushagra stepped into some very good issues there. Donny van de Beek didn't start. It was Scott McTominay and Fred. Obviously, uh, that was a more defensive formation. Like when you take a look at the squad initially, it looked a little defensive, and yeah, we started on a shaky note, but things picked up well after that.
Yeah, things did. I think we can speculate and talk about all the people who did not play, and about our center halves. I think we did not give due credit to the man when it's due, but Juan Mata was absolutely fantastic yesterday.
Yeah,
I remember that when he was coming off, there were a lot of people from the United bench who were shouting "Mago, Mago." I mean, he's
yeah,
the magician of the team, basically. And his performance yesterday was absolutely top class. And the way he linked up with Bruno, I think it was like both ways they were linking up really well. When winning Bruno to Mata, Mata to Bruno. I think the inside right kind of position always helps him, and he is someone who floats a lot. And I think we have been seeing Hamas do his stuff at Everton this season,
yeah,
and I think Mata might not be at the same level right now, but Mata can still do a lot of things which probably your Dan James, or in the current scenario, probably even Mason Greenwood cannot do at that position, which probably Juan Mata can. And
yeah,
when especially you're going to face teams which are going to be difficult to beat, Newcastle are that kind of team. They'll put their body on the line. They'll stop a lot of shots. They'll block a lot of them. They will have that defensive shape under Steve Bruce. I think you're going to be a lot of teams like that, and that is when this combination of Bruno Mata, and I think probably the diamond midfield, if we can play Bruno Mata, Van de Beek, and Pogba, or maybe even McTominay for that matter, I think it might be of great help to United going into these kind of games, especially in the second half when teams are going to be absolutely point blank defensive against United. So I
yeah,
think that is one thing which we saw yesterday towards the end of the game, that you know come the point when it's actually required, the diamond is something that we can actually look forward to. In the game, I felt uh, there were a few things that bothered me. In the first half, obviously, Alan San Maximum was running right, and I don't think Van Bissaka really wanted to put in a lot of tackles. He was a little
skeptical. Yeah,
scared, yeah, skeptical. He might give away a yellow card, or a penalty or something like of that sorts. And for people who saw Alan San Maximum for the first time yesterday, wondering why is one Newcastle player being able to do this for to a United right back, he's been doing that for a lot of time. It's just that he doesn't get noticed enough. But I think if you watch San Maximan since lockdown, he's been doing that for a long time.
yeah,
So that's why he actually got signed for Newcastle. That is what they actually saw in him. So that is something that really bothered. Obviously, Maguire and Lindelof still don't look convincing, but I think the attitude of Maguire is something that I can't fault right now after what I saw yesterday. His attitude is fantastic. He might not be the most skillful centre back. He might not be even the best centre back at the club, but I think his attitude is something that pushed him through yesterday, and he got that goal. I think it felt nice, and I felt happy for Maguire that he got a little bit of respite from all the pressure that he was under. all that stick which he receives, and he's going to be receiving until he's a United player. And I think again, Bruno, Rashford, they're fantastic, especially in the second half, late in the game when they were. Yeah, the goal which Rashford scored, it was
Was
90
well,
90 plus 6, I guess.
96, yeah.
Yeah, on 90 plus 6 minutes when you already won the game, for Bruno to actually come with the pass and for Rashford to actually make that run, that shows the determination that is there in this team. That is what Bruno was talking about. That people are trying to create a rift, but we do not have that in our team. Ole also said that we have this attitude, and I don't know why people just keep on bringing that. I think Ole it knows the answer himself because Manchester United is the most scrutinized club in the world for obvious reasons and and for not so obvious reasons as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I think overall it was a good performance. For me, Juan Mata should have been man of the match, but I understand why you gave it to Bruno. For the first time, we saw him missing a penalty for a change, and I absolutely loved the performance of Dalo. I think, in spite of the fact that he had that injury, he played really well, and all top marks to him. But United came out on top, and deservedly so.
Yeah, yeah. I think some of the things that you mentioned about Bruno, it's very interesting because there was a point in the second half. I think around about from the start of the second half, uh, around about 10 or 15 minutes after the time when he missed the penalty. I think that covers around 30 minutes. I think for a good 30 minutes, he was not. I think he sort of lost his touch or something. He was a bit frustrated. He looked a bit jaded. The number of long balls he was trying to connect. There was a shot which he absolutely,
Yeah,
it went into the third or fourth year, God knows where. You don't see that often with Bruno. He's very skillful shot taker, especially. And yeah, the penalty again, he did not do that bit of a jump that he does
yeah,
before kicking it. There were some different things yesterday, yeah. And so again, uh, Kushagra, coming back to Rashford, I think there was again so much talk about his decision making yesterday. I think there were plenty of moments where even Dan James, to be honest, there were plenty of moments where I think they could have had a couple of more goals. In fact, Rashford easily could have had a hat trick had he,
yeah,
because he found himself in some very good position, and Dan James at best he could have broken that not goalless streak. Uh, I think that has gone over a year now.
30
Uh,
games.
yeah,
30
30
Premier
Premier League
League
game.
games.
Yeah, I think they were. He looked good. Dan James looked good on the left side, and there were chances. But again, decision making was something that can be scrutinized yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I think more so for Dan James than for Rashford. I think
Yeah,
because see, there are levels at which you guys a person makes mistakes, right? So
yeah,
uh, you know Dan James is someone who's making mistakes at the elementary level, and Rashford is someone who's making a mistake at the graduate level, something like
true.
that.
Yeah,
Because in the sense, the kind of skills or the kind of passes that Rashford is going for, and that he ends up missing and everything else, you can see a vision there. You can see footballing intelligence in the man. It's
yeah,
not like he's going for a hit and hope, and it's not as if there isn't the one twos that he misses while he's trying to play with Bruno,
yeah,
or the one twos that he messes up when he's trying to link up with Mata, Pogba, Van de Beek, or whosoever it is.
yeah,
There is a purpose to it. At least you know even if it's a horrible miss, in the grand picture, grand scheme of things, you can see what he was trying. With Dan James, what happens is, we were discussing this before we started, right? You mentioned this shot that he had, a very tame shot. I can count three or four such opportunities wherein, so what does Dan James have? The biggest asset that he has. He has pace,
yes,
right? So when he has pace and when he's been able to cut in from the left, when he can see a little bit of space ahead in front of him. Okay, there are two options, right? One, he goes into that space and takes a shot, or he tries to find someone who's going. The man gets confused between the position he is and the position of the space. He ends up doing neither. And that happened three times in a row. Twice he misplaces the pass. Third time that shot was useless. He might as well just hit it outside, because it just rolled on to Darlow. And yeah, proper props to Darlow, because I felt he didn't deserve to be on the
losing side.
wrong side of a 4-1 scoreline, because he was fantastic for a good 75-80 minutes. And as Pratnesh said, there's clearly a problem with his groin. and you could see he was hopping on one leg. So hard luck to him, and I don't think Newcastle deserved to lose 4-1 in that sense. But as far as Dan James is concerned, I am still baffled as to how does how does Ole Solskjaer think that Dan James would be a part of the squad, because with Pelestri and Traore, hopefully both of them will settle in, but towards the end of the season. Once they are settled in, what role does Dan James have? Because eventually, with the performances that Tahith Chong has been giving for Werder Bremen as well,
Yeah,
one would think that 2 years down the line, because he's on a 2-year loan,
Yeah.
yeah,
so 2 years down the line, I think United would recall him. I don't think they'd sell him because he's still 19, 20. Right, Chong.
yeah,
He's not old, so
exactly.
he'll be 21, 22 by the time he comes back. So uh, I don't know what future holds for Dan James, but he looked better than he has yesterday. I would definitely give him that. He looked sharper. There were a few there were a few plays wherein he made the right decision. He released the ball early on time, but still, the end result is he's always found wanting in that sense.
Yeah.
He's always found it's always incomplete with him, isn't it? Like
Indeed, yeah.
it's almost there, it's just not there. And I find it quite stunning. People keep talking about, even the commentators yesterday, I mean, with all due respect, they were talking out of the backside, seriously. They were talking about him having a flurry of goals when he started for United. All he
Yeah.
had was 2 goals, bro.
3. Yeah, at best.
Three.
Yeah,
All he had was like a couple of matches, dude. Like they talk about as it went on a 10-match run, scoring run or something like that, got a glut of goals. He got 3 goals, dude. Like, I mean, what
in across all competitions.
yeah, it's just ridiculous, and the next goal that he got was in that 5-0
South.
win versus last, right?
Lask. Yeah.
Yeah, and that too wasn't
He
a very
shinned
good
it. Yeah,
goal.
he shinned it.
Yeah, that
Basically,
too
he
wasn't
shinned
a
it.
very good goal. So I don't understand this whole concept of Dan James. He just needs, even the commentators yesterday, they're saying, he just needs to get that one, and you feel they'll come in a flurry.
Huh.
What the fuck are you even watching United, dude? Just because someone maybe once made a statement that Dan James has scored 3 matches in a row, and people have taken it as if he's a goal scoring winger or something like that. I wouldn't mind if he scores 5 goals a season, but if he can make 10 more, that's more than enough. At this point, the dude can't even make 5 goals a season because his crossing is bad, his decision making is bad. He can't pass as well as anyone literally on the United squad. I think him and Fred would be one of the two worst passers in the United at this
Fred's
point.
better. Fred's better.
Slightly better, but yeah, again, Fred was again someone who absolutely pissed me right off last night. Like the balls that he misses, I know he's fantastic. The engine is great, up and down, but so many misplaced passes, dude. So many times. Oh God, I always wanted to pull my hair out. Fred and Scotty the Hottie. Oof, it's too much for me, man. That is too
Yeah,
much.
and
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for me,
Anurag, sorry, Pragnesh. Just a question to you.
yep.
Who's okay? As it's going to become a little inappropriate there. Okay, yeah, fine. Whose house has Van de Beek robbed for him to be treated this way? What does he
Yeah,
need to do? Like, does he need to like जैसे कटोरा लेके बैठ जाए ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड में बीच में गोल चक्कर पे अल्लाह के नाम पे खिला दे बाबा अल्लाह के नाम पे खिला दे बाबा क्या what is he supposed to do? He came yesterday, you saw it. He came, it was 1-1. Fluency of the game changed. Pogba did not have that effect on the team.
yeah,
Yeah.
Van de Beek did.
Again, yep. It's very much debatable. Again, it's actually not up for debate. It's quite clear. The reasons are unknown, but let's hope at least he gets to start very soon, because after a point it's gonna get incredibly frustrating. It already is, and we can already see on Twitter plenty of Ajax fans is this is not why we sold our guy you for. This is not the reason why he's in Manchester United
you
to
sold him
sit.
for money.
Yeah, but I think that they're still pissed, and they have a right to be so, because they're seeing a player who was their mainstay in the midfield, who is now not being. And it's not because there are better players at United. There are players who are around about as good as him, or maybe even he's far better than them. So again, that makes for a good case. So that's all about for the Newcastle game, and just a bit about Darlow, which you mentioned, and the penalty save that he made. If you looked at it, I was just hoping maybe he was just
Off the
that
line.
off the line a little bit.
But
But
he
what
has
a
one foot,
smart,
one
how
foot on
smart
the
was
line.
that technique? Yeah,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
smart. I think that's a good textbook thing for a lot of future
yeah,
goalkeepers,
yeah. I
because
think I
that
think I
rule.
think that's how they've been training keepers these days.
Yeah,
I think
so
you
that
keep
was
one foot
fabulous.
on
Yeah.
the line and you jump with the other foot, and that way
Yeah,
to ensure that you
maybe after a point, that 1 second later you can
right.
let that other foot
Yeah,
go off. So
yeah.
that's, I think, that was perfect. That was picture perfect, literally. So yeah, kudos to him. Then moving on, before we end, just a quick word on what do you guys expect from the next slaughterhouse that we're going to escape from not getting slaughtered is pretty much to get away with a draw would be a very significant result with the team that we have, with the defense that we have right now. And uh, and everyone is fit in PSG. The front line, everyone is fit. Last time we didn't have Neymar. Neymar wasn't fit. Mbappe, no, Mbappe was there. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, Di Maria was running riot at Old Trafford. He played. He had a fabulous game in the return fixture. Luckily, we had certain control through God's grace. That is not going to happen this time. Neymar is fully fit. He's going to play some good balls. It's going to be challenging, Pratmesh.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a back five finally once again. I won't mind. I won't mind it against PSG, to be honest. I won't absolutely mind it. But as long as if Eric Bailly is a part of the back three, I will literally have heart attack for 90
Who
minutes in
else
the
would
game.
play, bro?
Yeah, I understand it. I would rather play McTominay in that third
Come
third place. I think.
on, dude. Like
I know. He's
इससे
played
अच्छा
well for
लूक शॉ को
Scotland. That
खिलाओ,
position.
टेलिस को आगे भेजो.
exactly.
Huh,
Yeah,
yeah, even that would make sense, right? Even that
yeah,
Maguire, Lindelof, Luke Shaw as the
yeah. I,
back
th-
three.
I
would make a
think
lot of
because
sense.
he's excelled in that role at least a
See,
little
you
bit.
can't.
So
Yeah, I think having three center backs who are prone to mistakes would be very difficult. So I think, yeah, either Shaw or McTominay for me does the trick. Even Tuanzebe, but Tuanzebe hasn't played for a long time, and straight away to play against Paris Saint-Germain, possibly against Neymar and Mbappe, that would be a bit too much to expect. But yeah, back five, I think Telles should really be given a go. Van der Saka scored finally for United, his first professional goal, in fact. And Bruno thought that he couldn't shoot, basically. So he's shown that he can shoot. So possibly he can do a little bit of Diego Dallo and shoot at their centre half and get a late penalty and
Kimpembe.
win us the game. Yeah, shoot it if Kimpembe plays that. So and then Rashford could
Kimpembe
score.
is a solid guy.
Yeah,
He
he's a
won't let it go this time.
exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think pretty much we're going to expect a defensive setup, defensive team. I don't expect Van de Beek to start again. I even don't expect Pogba to start again, to be honest. Probably Bruno, Rashford, and I think Martial might start. So we might
Martial will start. Martial definitely
Martial,
Martial
starts.
has
yeah,
to.
Martial
Yeah.
has to
Oh, I
start.
forgot about the guy. Yeah.
So I think we will have that back five, and then Fred and McTominay in midfield, and then possibly those three up front. Bruno, Rashford, Martial, and then probably we will have a little bit of rotation amongst themselves. Probably shift positions, probably drift wide whenever necessary, create those channel runs. I think that is all that I can honestly expect. I don't expect United to go to Paris at all and dominate the ball. That would be like a total nightmare performance by PSG if that happens. But yeah, so I'm not expecting anything out of the game. I just want to see how we react to that whole game. Whether we
Yeah.
go there with an intention of actually blocking everything that comes our way, and then try to hit on the counter. Do we play a little proactively? Do we actually succumb to that pressure? So we just want to see how this team reacts to being in that situation right now. So for me, not any expectations as such, but then a draw would be a good result.
Yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up everything there. But Kushagra, one guy who made his professional debut for Manchester United against PSG in that
Yeah,
famous second leg
Greenwood.
win, Mason Greenwood, he was
Yeah.
nowhere to be seen yesterday. Do you expect him to come back for this game?
It was strange,
Yeah,
I
it
don't.
really was.
It was strange because the entire week Greenwood was talking, giving interviews about scoring
Scoring goals, yeah,
goals,
exactly.
and then doing everything else, and
Was he being
and
saved for this one?
I would surely hope so because he was not involved with the international squad, so it
Yeah,
clearly cannot be a training injury from England, and One can only hope that is not COVID or anything like
Yeah.
that, because we would have
Yeah.
heard by now.
I think it might be self isolation as well. I don't know. It can be
See. I
anything.
think if it is COVID,
But
United would have
isolation for
announced by
what?
now. Yeah,
But yeah, exactly. Had he tested positive or something on those lines,
we would have
we
known.
would have heard from somewhere, and the club would have had to come out and make a
This
statement
came
on
out of
that.
nowhere, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why was he not involved yesterday, and even in his post-match press conference, none of the
No one asked about him. Yeah,
journalists really asked Ole about it. It was strange. So let's hope before he has the PSG presser, I think tomorrow evening. Yeah, right.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
he has to do a press conference. Let's hope we get an update on Greenwood then. But as far as the PSG match is concerned, I would hope that Greenwood is ready, because you know as much as I think that five at the back would give us some sort of a defensive security and defensive stability. I just feel like if you it's like it's like using rotten apples to make apple custard or something like that, right?
yeah,
It doesn't matter if you have 5 rotten apples or 10 rotten apples. It's still
yep.
a rotten custard, right? So it doesn't matter if you've got 2 shit defenders or 3 shit defenders in defense. Like, it's still a shit defense, right? So I just feel like might as well try to compensate. Where somewhere some of that in the midfield. Like, I know Pratmesh is right. He'll probably not start Van de Beek again, and Van de Beek will be on the bench, and that's really irritating me now, because he is the only meaningful signing you've made, and he's
Yeah.
a good player. It's evident he's a good player. Integrate him into the squad rather than continuing. And I don't understand. Maybe Solskjaer sees Van de Beek as a direct competitor
The
to
reason the reason that was given by Solskjaer was that
Bruno's
he's not
position or
physically
something.
ready.
Sorry.
He's
He's
not
not
physically
physically
ready.
ready is the reason that he
What
gave.
bullshit, bro! What bullshit! He's playing 90 minutes for Holland in the midweek, and he's
Scored a
not
goal.
physically ready for the Premier League.
Yeah.
Absolute utter garbage. This man was ready to bring on Teles yesterday, and Van de Beek is not physically
No,
ready.
he means to say that he's not like that physically bulky yet that he could
The
survive
Premier
the
League,
physicality.
see, Premier League is
Yeah.
all up for
The
Barbie
issue of the
dolls,
Premier
bro.
League.
It's Barbie doll
Yeah.
stuff now. Everyone is
It's
falling down like a
all
pack of cards. I
bullshit,
think
dude.
Yeah.
let's not talk about physicality and Premier League now. I think
Yeah.
that's long lost now.
I don't, I
Yeah,
don't, I don't buy it in that sense,
yeah,
Pratmesh.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, I think
you know, forget that. Someone who's literally made out of glass, Thiago, is playing every game. He's
yeah.
physically ready, and someone
And there was he had a COVID. He tested COVID. He came
COVID
out of
positive as
quarantine and
well.
he's still playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
played
and
90 minutes.
and then what's even more brittle than glass? Like, what, cotton? Gareth Bale's gonna still play today. The cotton man of the world, right? So I mean, what physicality? I don't buy that nonsense.
Yeah,
And I mean, Ole Solskjaer has to find a way to play Van de Beek, because it's
yeah,
clear when Van de Beek plays, things work. Yesterday, I haven't spoken about Mata, and yesterday it showed. When you give good players an opportunity to play with other good players, good things can happen.
yeah.
And there's a huge difference in playing Juan Mata as compared to Mason Greenwood. I wish Juan Mata was like 3 or 4 inches taller. I would have loved that had he been able to convert himself into a central midfielder, because even if he did not do the work coming back, even if he did the work at the center circle and beyond, because his vision, his passing, his touch, it's all
Outstanding.
glorious. And I know he's lost pace. He's he has he has bare minimum physicality, and he isn't able to track back effectively at all. But
The
the
touch.
decision making, the vision, all of that is still there, and it's just a pleasure to watch him play, and I was really
Yeah,
happy for him, because
yeah,
he just feel like he's sort of been left behind in that whole David Silva, Cesc Fabregas debate. I remember 20,
yeah.
2010 to 2013,
Yeah.
14, it was a huge debate as in who amongst the three is the best. And at that point, Mata was the best, because of the Champions League, the Europa League, and performances
That
with
season where he
Chelsea.
got 30 plus assists.
Yeah, and so for whatever he's done with what he had done with Chelsea, and then the World Cup and the Euros with Spain and everything else. So Mata has been a fantastic player for Manchester United. Not just Manchester United, Mata has been a fantastic professional all in all, and I was really happy to see his performance. As far
Oh
as
yeah,
the final word on the PSG match, uh, Ole said last time, mountains are there to be climbed. So let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see. You never know. I mean, you never.
Yeah.
I know it sounds very hypocritical after that Spurs game, but I still don't write Ole's teams off in big games. He's done it way too many times for me to start keep writing him off, because almost every other time that you write him off, he gets a result. And
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just ask your opinion here. Does PSG really scare you? I know somehow it doesn't scare me. Like, I know, even though they reached the Champions League final, and they beat I think they beat Rennes. I think, right? Then no. I think Reims. They beat Reims
Dreams. Yeah.
4-0, and away from home, Mbappe scoring twice. I think, and they played very well in that match, even though Reims were down to 10 men pretty early in the first half as well. So, but still, they might, these might be famous last words, right? We see that on Twitter. Unfortunate statements before unfortunate events, something like that.
Yeah.
So, this could be, but we might get trounced 6-1 again there. But I don't know. I know PSG don't. I don't know. PSG don't have that aura around them. I don't know. They can have anyone playing for them. That jersey is a joke.
Okay, that's one way to really sum it up. Again,
Yeah.
is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's honeymoon, as many people call it. Apparently, it has lasted a bit too long. Some people say he's here to stay,
I think
and
I think the divorce and
this.
honeymoon were coupled together.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a very weird mix of phrases and analogies, but again, this is going to be one crucial phase, and I think he definitely will be heading to the exit doors if this phase doesn't go well, or anyway is being close to the disaster that a lot of fans are fearing it can be. So we hope it doesn't happen that way. We hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm a big Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fan. Not as a manager, I mean, just as a person that he is. I genuinely hope that team does well under him, and he stays and he wins something. That's what I hope. And I know a lot of United fans, even who are criticizing him inside and out, they want him to win something at Manchester United. Let's see what happens. That's all from us for now. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please tune in to Sound of Manchester. We have some very interesting videos lined up.